A good evening. Welcome to the English News Bulletin. Happy Sunday. And for this edition, we'll begin with the headlines. President Paul Kagame emphasized that Rwanda's economic and social development was driven by programs focused on placing citizens at the center of initiatives aimed at benefiting them. The Ideal Democratic Party has announced its continued support for His Excellency Paul Kagame, who was elected as the candidate of the party for the presidential election by the RPF in Inkotanyi. On the international scene, for some African communities, the road to food security is traveled best by tractor. A company called Hello Tractor, supported by non-profit Heifer International, is enabling poor smallholding farmers to rent or buy mechanized farm equipment. It is always a pleasure to have your company. My name is Olive. Netting out to the news in details. President Paul Kagame emphasized that Rwanda's economic and social development was driven by programs focused on placing citizens at the center of initiatives aimed at benefiting them. The head of state reiterated this at the Economic Forum, a special meeting on global collaboration, growth, and energy for development to address the most pressing issues on the global agenda. Adam Squizera kicks us off tonight.
Would be of enormous.
President Paul Kagame reiterated these remarks during the World Economic Forum's opening plenary session on the new vision for global development that discussed how to reignite the momentum for development and economic convergence. The head of state expressed that Rwanda's economic and social development was driven by programs focused on placing citizens at the center of the initiatives aimed at benefiting them.
Putting the people at the center of everything we are doing. And therefore, that means investments in our human capital. How do we develop it, and how does it find that space to be able to contribute and to their own well-being and development? And in that, we have invested in education, in health, and above all, technology has been a focus for us, and integrating that in the education system or in the health services as we move forward. Like for health services, for example, we we have made use of technology like drones, where you find drones are developing and are delivering health services to rural hospitals and so on and so forth.
Kristalina Georgieva, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, highlighted that while the progress has been made in developing the technology sector within the economy, there remains a need to ensure that the benefits of this economy are shared more broadly. This is important to mitigate risk related to global challenges, such as famine and drought.
Where did we fail? And we have to be honest and admit it. In a world of plenty, we still have almost 800 million people who are hungry. We failed to more inclusively share the benefits of this growth. So I look forward, I'm an optimist, I think I belong to Saudi Arabia. I look forward, and I think the next 100 years we can achieve the same degree of wealth, but with much better distribution of the benefits of growth. And may we have the will to work together to achieve that.
During the World Economic Forum's opening plenary session on the new vision for global development, President Kagame emphasized that the African continent is progressing towards development by implementing initiatives like the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, which is seen as a crucial step towards fostering economic growth and integration across Africa.
Africa have developed the African Continental Free Trade Area, the biggest, in fact, in the world. What we are trying to do now is to make sure that it becomes real. The obstacles that are there for the African continent to come together are removed, and But it takes time, it takes a lot of effort, but that is happening. And I'm sure my brother here, President Tinubu of Nigeria, is involved in this as well because of the importance of his country. But we are seeing Africa, much as you may find problems here and there, Africa is coming together, Africa is moving forward. Different countries have decent or impressive growth of the economy. This can't be coming from nothing, but the good efforts that Africans are putting in place.
The head of state also highlighted accountability and good governance as key pillars that Rwanda has built upon over the past 30 years to strengthen its economy and foster development.
Rwanda, we have come from the dead 30 years ago. We are now alive and thriving, and it's investments in our people and accountability and governance that we bring into play and which we share with the rest of the continent.
The ongoing transformation of the global economy propelled the ascendancy of the artificial intelligence, resurgence in industrial policy, the restructuring of the supply chains, and the energy transition were the major key topics related in this plenary session on the new vision for global development, which was also participated by Bulletin, the president of Nigeria. Adams Kwizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adams, for the details. Now, the Ideal Democratic Party has announced its continued support for His Excellency Paul Kagame, who was elected as RPF candidate for the presidential election. However, the party clarified that it will run on its own in the parliamentary elections. We have details. The General Assembly of the Ideal Democratic Party, which convened members representing various regions, has expressed confidence in their party's readiness to contest positions in the upcoming parliamentary elections. They are hopeful of winning these elections, but emphasize that it is early for them to consider vying for the presidential elections at this time.
There
is a percentage we envisage to arrive on. It doesn't mean that we will succeed at 100% because there is a political party, because there are other great political parties like the RPF, but we also look forward to winning a certain percentage.
The Political Bureau of FPR elected President Paul Kagame as the RPF flag bearer in the 2024 presidential elections, and we have chosen to support him in the upcoming presidential elections as a sign to support the good decision of our leaders. The president of the PDI party, Honorable Musa Fazil Harerimana, highlights that the parliamentary positions they intend to contest will enable them to further support His Excellency Paul Kagame. He expressed confidence in President Kagame's leadership abilities and believes that he will emerge victorious in the upcoming elections.
The Constitution clearly states that the President of the Republic has the right to remove the existing parliament and establish a new one with the votes of residents. He does this whenever the parliament is not doing its responsibilities of establishing laws that support the manifesto. That is why our political party will not vie for the presidential elections, since we have found that the president is capable of continuing these responsibilities and serving Rwandans.
For the first time, the PDI party will independently contest in the parliamentary elections, breaking from its previous practice of joining the National Consultative Forum, which typically decided to align with the RPF in Inkotanyi. The party's leadership reaffirms that they will willingly support His Excellency Paul Kagame as the candidate of the RPF in Inkotanyi. To more news, members of PS in Imberakuri in the Eastern Province have vowed to play a positive role in the presidential and parliamentary elections here in Rwanda come July. The decision was made during the party's congress at the provincial level in the East, during which party members were briefed on the proper way they should conduct themselves during the elections, as well as PS in Imberakuri's political manifesto. The party's chairperson, Honorable Christine Mukabunani, urged the members to understand that participating in the elections is the responsibility of all Rwandans. PS Imberakuri officials have also announced that the party's members will decide during its National Congress next month whether or not the party will put forward a candidate in the upcoming presidential elections. There is no doubt, however, that the party will vie for parliamentary seats. matters regarding commemoration of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, Rwandan youths have been urged to embrace unity wholeheartedly and reject anything that may seek to take the country back to its darkest period in history. The call was made by the Minister of National Unity and Civic Engagement as joined genocide survivors and other local residents in Cyanika sector in a commemoration event to mark 30 years since the genocide against the Tutsi. Testimonies given show that the persecution of the Tutsi in what used to be Karama commune began long before the genocide actually took place, with local leaders spurring mobs to burn their houses and loot belongings, while many were forcibly relocated to the eastern province with the hope that they would die from the tsetse fly. Genocide survivors confirmed that on the 21st of April in 1994 is when Interahamwe militia backed by gendarmerie units massacred the Tutsi who had fled to Cyanika parish. Despite their experiences, the survivors told those present that they were nevertheless able to rebuild their lives. Minister of National Unity and Civic Engagement, Dr. Jean Damascene Bizimana, pointed out that bad leadership was the primary reason that genocide against the Tutsi even took place. The Cyanika Genocide Memorial Site is the final resting place for the bodies of more than 35,000 Tutsi who were killed during the atrocities that were committed there. Now to matters related to tourism. In 2023, more than 1.4 million tourists visited Rwanda, resulting in revenue equivalent to $620 million, up from $500 million during the previous year, an increase of 36%. Most of that money came from visits made to the Volcanoes National Park. Officials in the private sector federation have noted that the figures leave no doubt that the country's economy has continued to grow and that the tourism sector has also continued to be a major driving force in that endeavor. Last year, Rwanda hosted as many as 160 major events that saw the participation of 65,000 people and revenue amounting to $95 million compared to $62 million in 2022. Those who visited the country's gorillas accounted for just 2% of all tourists, but the revenue they provided was equal to 30% of all the money acquired through the tourism sector. A strong tourism sector has also been found to be very beneficial to the private sector in general, boosting the provision of goods and services. The tourism sector has also continued to be a vital source of employment for many and demand for different industrial products, reducing the country's reliance on the revenue derived from agriculture, which is important when one considers that the country has only a finite size of land to cultivate. In other news, in multiple reports, Rwanda consistently ranks among the top countries in technology advancement, particularly in the realm of computer programming. It is listed among the 17 countries that has the highest number of proficient computer programmers on the continent. Furthermore, within the East African community, Rwanda secures the second position in coding. We have details. On different occasions, the students of New Generation Academy and those from Collège Christ Roi have made trips to the United States of America to visit advanced companies in technology and also attend various competitions, as students explain.
So our project it's mainly about architecture and building houses. So in Rwanda we wanted to build more houses that are very strong, that can withhold any hazards, and we can build houses that can actually attract even tourists, because our project mainly deals like you think of a house that you really want, any kind of a house, and we use our technology to make your dream house come to life.
I would build a robot in my baby's room that detects if the baby is crying or not. It's what we're doing back there. Once the baby is crying, it would notify the mother or the father that, hello, your baby's crying, go and it needs attention and stuff like that.
Some of those who accompanied the students on different occasions, including the acting head of Department of ICT in Education at the Rwanda Education Board, Diana Sengati, and the principal of the New Generation Academy, Vedast Ruzirabwoba, believe that these academic trips have benefited the students.
These students, some of them and the teachers, they went to America, in USA, where they visited different headquarters, the headquarters of Tesla, Google, Microsoft, the Computer Museum. So the reason of giving this opportunity was to open their mind. And we saw the outcome, how these students who got that chance, they really now they have changed the mind, the way toward the problem. They want now to be the problem solvers and the creators.
If we start doing this with integrating the robotics in the curriculum, we also expect that the skills of our students will be improved. And then we are also going to we are expecting to have this kind of competition happening in Rwanda. So far we had national competition, but we expect that we are bringing international competition to Kigali, where we will receive all these teams in Rwanda, from different countries, and then we expect from that more students from Rwanda will be able also to interact with those teams.
Knowledge about coding itself has brought profits to the students of Rwanda Coding Academy, amounting to 7 billion Rwandan francs through 7 projects that they have done so far. Entrepreneur Jean-Claude Tuyisenge says that in collaboration with the Ministry of Technology and Innovation and the German corporation GIZ, they were given a modern laboratory and various other machines worth more than 100 million Rwandan francs, which will support them to upgrade their activities to another level.
Rwanda has invested a lot in terms of infrastructures, in terms of skills development. You have seen people are traveling abroad in South Korea, in Japan, in the United States to learn what others are doing in these emerging technologies. Rwanda has put in place different policies to protect these infrastructures, these properties. So it's obvious that Rwanda has to be ranked among best countries in Africa.
A study conducted in 2023 showed that if Rwanda were to invest another $77 million in technology, it would get more than $500 million, equivalent to 6% of the national budget per year. Victor Muvunyi, the emerging technology senior technologist at the Ministry of ICT and Innovation, points out that teaching this modern technology in schools is a great improvement and planning for the future.
The proof of concept is a policy, it's a governmental policy of making Rwanda like a test bed where new technologies, emerging technologies, innovators can come and try the solutions within the country, whereby we'll give them the conducive regulations, conducive environment, conducive laws and regulations that allows them really to harness the innovation and to test them on our comparatively not very big market in comparison to the whole Africa, but a very good market to try your products, to try your solutions, so that you can even have an idea of how to expand to the wider market of Africa and elsewhere. So, but again, as I was saying in Kinyarwanda a while ago, this is not an opportunity for only foreigners, but also even for our local innovators really to grab these opportunities that the government is putting there for them.
With more than 690,000 computer programmers in Africa, Rwanda is ranked among the 17 countries on the continent that are developing the technology sector based on the number of developers they have. Rwanda is also the second, after Kenya, among the countries that are members of the East African Community in terms of countries that have invested in technology infrastructure, including developing cybersecurity, and also as a country that is improving the knowledge of technology in their population. Let's change the subject to commemoration activities. At Nyarubaka in Kamonyi district, local residents have commended the way the government has continued to promote gender equality, giving value to women and girls, and ensuring that they play productive role in the country's development and not seek to destroy it. The observation was made during the recollection of the woman known as Florence Mukangango, who is known to have played a role in the killing of as many as 80 Tutsi boys during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. The woman was stationed at a local roadblock and would pick out the boys from Tutsi trying to flee the atrocities, her horrific actions leading to the deaths of dozens of young boys. The local residents in the area note that the contrast of her actions and the way women today are portrayed in a positive light illustrates the importance of good leadership that does not discriminate and instead teaches all members of society to play a positive role and not a negative one. The observation was made as commemoration events were held at Nyarubaka with mothers who lost their boys at the local roadblock, encouraged not to lose heart because the current leadership of the country is working to ensure that such atrocities are never allowed to happen again. A memorial plaque is to be erected at the location, bearing the names of the boys who were killed there. And on behalf of the news production team, thank you for being part of our news today. Have a fruitful week ahead. Take care and goodbye.